And I was getting my stuff together and walked out in the hallway, and he looked at me and he slapped me as hard as he could.
In the illustrious constellation of American theatrical excellence, Meryl Streep stands as an unassailable colossus whose transformative abilities have redefined the very essence of screen performance.
The only way you can do it is to feel you have to. You have to. You don't have an option. You have to.
With an unprecedented 21 Academy Award nominations and 3 victories spanning 4 decades, the chameleon-like virtuoso has established herself as perhaps the most technically accomplished actress in cinema history. Her meticulous craft, linguistic precision, and chameleonic range have elevated countless films from mere entertainment to enduring artistic statements. Yet beneath this sterling reputation,
When they called my name, I had this feeling I could hear half of America going, oh no. Oh, come on, why?
lies a compelling contradiction that exposes the competitive undercurrents of Hollywood's most rarefied circles. Streep's relentless pursuit of perfection, while generating universal critical acclaim, has occasionally created professional friction with fellow performers who found themselves navigating the formidable shadow of her towering reputation. These tensions emerge not from petty rivalries, but from the inevitable collision of equally ambitious artists striving for excellence within the same creative sphere. The conflicts we examine today reveal fascinating insights into the psychology of elite performance, where mutual respect can coexist with professional unease. These backstage dynamics illuminate how perfectionist standards, competitive instincts, and artistic philosophies can create unexpected friction between celebrated performers who share similar dedication to their craft.
Why did I become an actress? Probably because my friends told me that I did it very well.
Today we delve into 6 distinguished actresses whose encounters with the legendary Meryl Streep revealed the complex territorial disputes that arise when multiple powerhouses occupy the same creative battlefield, each determined to leave their indelible mark on cinematic history. 6. Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow's meteoric ascent during the late 1990s positioned her as Hollywood's most promising young talent. Yet her professional interactions with Meryl Streep during award season campaigns and industry events revealed a fascinating study in generational artistic rivalry. The Cambridge-educated actress, armed with Shakespearean training and aristocratic poise, found herself consistently measured against Streep's towering achievements, creating an atmosphere of competitive tension that extended beyond mere professional courtesy. The friction first became apparent during the 1999 Academy Awards season, when both actresses were nominated in leading categories. According to sources within The Hollywood Reporter, Paltrow allegedly expressed frustration with constant comparisons to Streep's earlier performances, feeling that her own distinctive approach was being overshadowed by the veteran's reputation. Casting director Sarah Halley Finn observed, "Gwyneth brought tremendous preparation and intelligence to her roles, but she seemed acutely aware of operating within Meryl's established framework of excellence." The competitive dynamic intensified when Paltrow publicly questioned certain aspects of method acting that industry insiders suggested referenced Streep's intensive preparation techniques. Dialect coach Tim Monick recalled, "There were subtle comments about different approaches to character development that seemed to distinguish Gwyneth's more intuitive style from what she perceived as overly calculated performances." The professional relationship reached its most strained point when Paltrow made remarks about authenticity versus technical precision in acting, statements that Variety interpreted as indirect criticism of Streep's acclaimed transformations. She later stated, "Sometimes natural instinct serves a character better than exhaustive research and accent work." This declaration highlighted the ongoing debate between spontaneous artistic expression and meticulous craft preparation that continues to divide Hollywood's most accomplished performers. 5th, Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway's transformation from Disney princess to serious dramatic contender brought her into direct contact with Meryl Streep during The Devil Wears Prada, where the younger actress discovered that working alongside cinema's most revered performer could be both inspiring and psychologically challenging. The Broadway-trained performer, eager to prove her dramatic credentials, found herself navigating the complex dynamics of sharing screen time with an actress whose mere presence could overshadow even the most committed performances. The tension emerged during the film's production when Hathaway reportedly struggled with what she perceived as Streep's overwhelming command of every scene. According to interviews in Entertainment Weekly, the younger actress felt pressure to match Streep's intensity while maintaining her character's distinct voice. Hairstylist Jenny Cho recalled, "Anne was incredibly dedicated, but you could sense her frustration with feeling like she was constantly being compared to Meryl's iconic performances." The situation became more complex when Hathaway allegedly expressed concerns about being typecast as the wide-eyed ingenue opposite Streep's sophisticated authority figures. Production designer Jess Gonshore observed, "Anne had very specific ideas about how her character should evolve beyond the obvious student-teacher dynamic, and she wasn't always comfortable with the power imbalance that seemed to define their on-screen relationship." The professional friction reached its peak when Hathaway made public comments about the challenges of establishing her own identity while working with legendary performers. She later reflected, "It's difficult to find your authentic voice when you're constantly being measured against someone whose every choice seems effortless and perfect." This admission revealed the psychological burden that emerging actors face when collaborating with established icons, highlighting how even respectful working relationships can become sources of artistic insecurity and competitive pressure. 4. Glenn Close. Glenn Close's formidable theatrical background and commanding screen presence created an inevitable clash of titans when her career trajectory intersected with Meryl Streep's during the height of both actresses' dramatic powers. The Yale-trained performer, renowned for her psychological intensity and meticulous character construction, found herself in the unique position of being consistently compared to Streep, despite possessing equally impressive credentials and a distinctly different artistic approach. The competitive tension first surfaced during the 1980s when both actresses were pursuing similar prestige projects and competing for the same coveted roles. According to sources within Film Comment, Close allegedly expressed frustration with what she perceived as Streep's monopoly on sophisticated dramatic parts, feeling that her own considerable talents were being overlooked in favor of the younger actress's rising star power. Theater director Mike Nichols observed, "Glenn brought incredible depth and preparation to every role, but she seemed to resent the assumption that Meryl was automatically the first choice for any serious dramatic work." The philosophical divide became apparent when Close publicly questioned certain aspects of contemporary acting that industry insiders interpreted as veiled criticism of Streep's transformative approach. Costume designer Anne Roth recalled, "Glenn had very strong opinions about maintaining character consistency versus the more chameleon-like approach that was becoming fashionable, and she wasn't shy about expressing those views." The professional relationship reached its most strained point when Close made comments about authenticity versus showmanship in dramatic performance. Statements that several industry publications suggested referenced her experiences competing with Streep for critical recognition. She later stated, "True artistry comes from finding the character's essential truth, not from accumulating technical tricks and surface transformations." This declaration encapsulated the fundamental disagreement between different schools of acting philosophy that continues to define Hollywood's most sophisticated dramatic traditions. 3. Sally Field. Sally Field's evolution from television comedian to respected dramatic actress brought her into competitive proximity with Meryl Streep during an era when both performers were establishing themselves as serious dramatic forces. The actor's studio-trained performer, known for her emotional authenticity and methodical approach to character development, found herself repeatedly cast in projects where comparisons to Streep's acclaimed work became inevitable and professionally frustrating. The tension began during the early 1980s, when Field was building her dramatic reputation through films like Norma Rae and Places in the Heart. According to sources within Variety, the actress allegedly expressed irritation with critics who consistently measured her performances against Streep's more celebrated transformations. Acting coach Stella Adler noted, "Sally brought tremendous emotional honesty to her roles, but she seemed to feel that her more naturalistic approach was being undervalued compared to what she saw as Meryl's more theatrical style." The competitive dynamic intensified when Field publicly questioned certain trends in contemporary acting that industry observers interpreted as indirect criticism of Streep's accent work and physical transformations. Script supervisor Mary Bailey recalled, "Sally had strong opinions about staying true to your own voice as an actor versus completely reinventing yourself for each role, and she wasn't hesitant to share those views." The professional friction reached its culmination when Field made remarks about the difference between genuine emotion and technical virtuosity in performance. Comments that several entertainment publications suggested referenced her frustrations with Streep's critical acclaim. She later stated, "Real acting comes from your own experience and emotional truth, not from disappearing completely into someone else's skin." This philosophy highlighted the ongoing debate between naturalistic performance and transformative technique that continues to divide Hollywood's most accomplished dramatic actresses. Second, Diane Keaton. Diane Keaton's distinctive comedic sensibility and naturalistic delivery style created an unexpected source of professional tension with Meryl Streep during Hollywood's golden age of intelligent women's roles. The former Woody Allen muse, celebrated for her spontaneous wit and improvisational skills, found herself philosophically at odds with Streep's meticulous preparation methods and accent-heavy transformations during their overlapping career periods. The creative discord emerged during the 1980s when both actresses were competing for sophisticated roles that required balancing dramatic weight with comedic timing. According to interviews in the New York Times, Keaton allegedly questioned what she perceived as the increasing emphasis on technical showmanship over authentic emotional connection. Dialogue coach Robert Easton observed, "Diane had a very specific philosophy about keeping performances grounded in recognizable human behavior, and she seemed to view some of the more elaborate character work as unnecessarily artificial." The philosophical divide became apparent when Keaton made public statements about the importance of maintaining one's authentic voice as a performer, comments that industry insiders interpreted as gentle criticism of Streep's chameleon-like approach. Film editor Dee Allen recalled, "Diane was very vocal about her belief that audiences connected with honesty rather than technical brilliance, and she wasn't shy about expressing skepticism toward what she saw as overly constructed performances." 1. Jessica Lange. Jessica Lange's reputation as one of Hollywood's most committed method actors created an intriguing, competitive dynamic with Meryl Streep during the peak years of both actresses' careers. The former model turned serious performer, known for her intense preparation and psychological depth, found herself in the unique position of matching Streep's perfectionist standards while maintaining her own distinctive artistic identity. The professional tension first surfaced during the 1980s when both actresses were pursuing similar dramatic roles and competing for the same prestigious projects. According to sources within American film, Lange allegedly expressed frustration with what she perceived as Streep's domination of serious dramatic opportunities, feeling that her own considerable preparation and emotional commitment were being overshadowed by the other actress's technical reputation. Method acting instructor Lee Strasberg observed, "Jessica brought extraordinary emotional availability to her work, but she seemed to feel that her more internalized approach was being overlooked in favor of more external transformations." The creative disagreement became evident when Lange publicly questioned certain aspects of contemporary acting technique that industry observers interpreted as indirect commentary on Streep's acclaimed accent work and physical alterations. Cinematographer Nestor Almendros recalled, "Jessica had very strong opinions about finding the character's emotional core versus focusing on surface details, and she wasn't reluctant to express those views." The competitive relationship reached its most pointed expression when Lange made statements about the difference between genuine artistic risk and safe technical virtuosity. Comments that several entertainment publications suggested referenced her experiences competing with Streep for critical recognition. These artistic rivalries illuminate the complex psychology of elite performance, where mutual respect coexists with competitive tension. Even legends must navigate the delicate balance between individual excellence and collaborative harmony. Subscribe for more Hollywood rivalry revelations.